Hey guys, gwyned here. I am bringing you another Standard Pauper deck tech. This time I am playing Remedio's MummRa deck. I piloted this to a second place finish in MPDC 2802. This is round 3. My opponent is Tiagox SR. This is game 2. I won the first one. And my opponent is playing an Azorius Morph deck, which I really like the look of. It's been a very fun deck to play against. So let's take a look at my opener. Let's see. 2 lands that are both Evolving Wilds, but I do have Kill Shot and Treasure Cruise and Gray Merchant. Have the ability to get a Return Phalanx out. I think this is borderline, but I think it's keepable. My opponent kept as well, and we are off. So I'll go ahead. My opponent's going to go ahead and play out an Evolving Wilds here. And I am going to follow suit here. Go ahead and grab a Swamp. Opponent does have an early play with a Soul Summons, gets a 2/2 into play. I'm just going to have to play my Scoured Barrens, hoping that next turn I'll be able to play that Return Phalanx and be able to keep that manifested creature back. I do draw another Gray Merchant, which is good for me, assuming I live that long. And my opponent has another Morph. So I find another untapped land, which is nice. Just going to go ahead and get an island here and go ahead and cast the Return Phalanx, hoping I can hold his creatures back. And he is going to go ahead and unmorph this Mystic very early and swing in now on turn 4 for 3, which is very good for him. I'm going to need some removal pretty quickly or that thing's going to kill me in just a handful of turns. So I'm going to go ahead and pass here, thinking I may I'm planning on kill-shotting the Mystic. He's got an Alabaster Kieran as well. So now I've got an interesting decision here. I guess neither of them I have the ability to block, so I guess killing the one with higher power is probably what makes sense. So that's what I'll do. Go ahead and take that one out, take 2, and drop down to 14. So my opponent's got off to a pretty early lead here. Go ahead and play this untapped Swamp because it lets me get this Gray Merchant out and get a little life, getting me back in the race a little bit here, but he can continue to swing in and there's not much I can do about it yet. Opponent has a Ride into Being and another Morph. Play the Scoured Barrens and I'm going to go ahead and just play out this other Gray Merchant as well while he's tapped out, give me a little bit of a life cushion there. My opponent is gonna, it's a Sage-Eye Harrier, alright, so he's gonna swing in for 3 now, dropping me to 18, and a Monastery Flock as well. So he's looking pretty good as far as the ability to block my things. I do find a Typhoid Rats, but that's not gonna do me a whole lot of good. I'm gonna go ahead and cast Read the Bones here, and see if I can find something that I'm gonna need. Probably some removal spells is really what I'm looking for at this point. So, let's see what I get here. So I think I'm going to go ahead and bottom the Treasure Cruise and keep the Read to Bones. Oh, and I find a Scholar. That could be really useful. Go ahead and get that out and just pass the turn back. Opponent continues to swing in, dropping me a 3. And has a Lotus Pathogen as well. This is another good card that came into the standard set here pretty recently. 2/3 flying with prowess for 4 is pretty decent. A little expensive, but I think the prowess more than makes up for it, and certainly good in this spot. So, and despite bottoming the Treasure Cruise, I do find another one. I'm going to go and cast Read the Bones here, just hoping for some removal, which I do find, which is nice. Oh, but I bottomed it, probably because what I'm looking for is something a little more. I'm not sure why I bottomed that. I guess getting at this point the 2 damage probably isn't worth it, so I'm going to cast Treasure Cruise here. I guess that's probably the right call. Treasure Cruise, draw a whole bunch more cards. Still don't really have much in the way of answers, and now I'm taking 6 a turn. Or I'm sorry, 5 a turn. I'm going to need something here to stay alive. just draw into another land. Go ahead and cast Read the Bones. Find a Voyage's End. That will definitely help. Keep the Voyages, keep both those cards. Play out the Rats. And go ahead and hold up the mana here. Could Voyage's End, or if need be, I can also activate the Scholar. So let's see what my opponent's going to do here. He has another Treasure Cruise, so refill in his hand. I'm going to go ahead and cast Voyage's End on the Lotus Path Gen. Oh good, and I find another Gray Merchant. That's definitely good news for me. So now my opponent drops me to 3, and I am just in a world of hurt. So, and he's got another Morph as well. So back on my turn here, obviously playing out the Gray Merchant here is first priority. I do have this Negate backup, which could be very important. He does indeed have the Nullify, but I drew into this wonderful Negate to get rid of it, keeping me alive, but it doesn't allow me to draw, doesn't allow me to activate the Scholar, but I'm back up at 11 now. My opponent's down to 4, so got a little bit of life here. Gonna go ahead and swing in with this Typhoid Rats, which he's gonna block with his Morph. It looks like it was a Plains. See what else he's got. Got another Mystic. So he's again attacking for 6, dropping me down to 5. And it's going to replay his Lotus Path Gen. So I'm going to need to start gaining a whole bunch of life here, especially with all these lands. So let's do that. Let's go ahead and start gaining some life. And that will allow me to swing in with all my guys, and I think that that is lethal. Yeah, because he can only block 2 of them. So, yep, he goes ahead and concedes here, and so that was how this match played out. Again, Scholar there was helpful, gave me a little bit extra life, dropped him down, and then was able to swing in for the win. So that is how that round ended. In fact, I went 3-0 in Swiss, and ended up the first game that I lost was in the finals. Ended up finishing 1-2 in the finals against very good is a control deck, but was very happy with this deck, and I'm gonna definitely continue to experiment with it. Thanks to Remedio for coming up with such a great deck, and yeah, it's been a lot of fun. So thanks for watching.
In closing, let me remind you, you can keep up with all my writings and articles by following me on Twitter at the username gwyned42. That's GWYNED and the number 42. I also regularly publish articles over at puremtgo.com. Search for me by the username gwyned on that site, or find the link in the description of this video. I also maintain a blog now at writeradept.blogspot.com, and you can also find that in the description. Finally, if you enjoyed these videos, please remember to subscribe to my channel and post any feedback or comments. Thanks for watching.